Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I'd like to thank all the distinguished guests who've come to give us a brief introduction to the different careers options today. There are a number of different career options that will give a PowerPoint discussion.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Imran. I'm a junior doctor working as an FY1. So obviously I think everyone knows that getting into medicine is quite challenging and very competitive. So the first thing is obviously getting experience. As well as getting the 3As, you need to have a lot of NHS experience. So my advice is to contact your local hospitals and try and see if you can fit yourself in for a week or 2 weeks during the summer holidays. That will really help you. Or perhaps even contact your local GP and try and do some clerical work alongside him. Although it will seem mundane, but it will really help your application.
Let's move on to dentistry, shall we? Well, basically, I've been a dentist now for nearly 15 years, and the idea really is to try and not necessarily promote, but certainly give you as many people options. So, what have I been doing in the last 15 years? Well, a few things I've done in my life, just to give you a little resume of the sorts of things I've been getting up to. At the moment, of course, I've got my own practice in Hensford near Cannock, doing various things, but basically I'm specialised in orthodontics, which is braces, straightening teeth. That's my personal speciality. So what is dentistry? Well, it's the evaluation, diagnosis, prevention, treatment of diseases, disorders, conditions of the soft and hard tissues of the mouth and surrounding structures. I have to read that. It's a lot more to it than that, I have to say. Basically, it is essentially a subspeciality of medicine. That's basically what it is. We specialise in just dealing with diseases and treatment in and around the oral cavity, the mouth. And the idea really is to start with something like that and end up with something like that. Happy patients. That's the idea of it. And a lot of the pros and cons and benefits that you get are very similar to medicine. It does make me wonder sometimes why people want to be doctors, but there you go. Anyone who wants to come in and do either medicine or dentistry has to go through a clinical aptitude test now as well. And that's recent. That's only happened in the last 12 months, I believe. The reason for it is because A-levels just don't seem to be enough of a differentiating factor anymore to get the best candidates. So yes, you need good A-levels, but now you need to pass another hurdle as well. And anyone who wants to go for medicine or dentistry has to go through this as well. And there's various little bits to it, but essentially it's an online-based test that everyone has to do.
I'm a solicitor. I'm a partner working in a law firm in Birmingham city centre, and I've been practicing for just over 10 years. So that's me. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on what you want to hear about, you're going to get a bias towards being a solicitor rather than being a barrister in this particular talk. So when people say I want to be a lawyer, first thing to understand is a lawyer is an umbrella term, a very generic term. It doesn't mean anything specific. So solicitors can be lawyers, so can barristers. And in terms of career paths, you also have legal executives. Those are individuals who are not qualified as solicitors or barristers, but they can, through working in an office, become solicitors over time. And they have their own exams to sit. You have paralegals, people who sometimes make a career out of being a paralegal. Again, unqualified individuals. And of course you have the judiciary, and it's largely solicitors and barristers who will become or can become judges. I think there are two broad types of work that you can fall into as a solicitor. You can go into what I call individual law, or you can go into corporate law. What are individual specialisms? Well, that is law where you're dealing with the person off the street, crime, family, so divorces, children issues, domestic conveyancing, people who help you sell your house, people who deal with probate, so wills and estates. And indeed employment law, you could say, fits into the category of individual specialism because you can act for employees for people who want to bring claims against their employers. How do you get there? And again, I am focusing on solicitors rather than barristers, but I can talk to you about barristers if the bar is what you're looking at. We're looking at 6 years. Law degree, typically 3 years. Legal practice course, 1 year. You go to law school for 1 year, you apply the principles you've learnt during your law degree in a practical context to understand how a solicitor should operate. After you've done that, you try and secure a training contract with a law firm. That takes 2 years. That 2 years is split into 4 seats of 6 months in different departments. Then you qualify as a solicitor.
My name is Rafiq Saleh Nasser. Professionally, I'm civil engineer, and I'm working as a senior engineer with the UK-based consultancy. Actually, engineering is the discipline, art, and profession of acquiring and applying technical, scientific, and mathematical knowledge to design and implement materials, structures, machines, devices, systems, and processes that safely realize a desired objective or inventions. Drive and motivation, your personal interest, mean if you have strong interest for engineering world, and if you are motivated to solve the problems, and if you are ready to accept challenges, and if you want to move around, then engineering is a profession for you.
I'm a secondary school teacher, but I also do a bit of what's called post-16 teaching, which is basically teaching A-level students. But there are a number of different contexts that you can work in, preschool, nursery, for example, primary schools, and you can also specialize in higher education or further education teaching at universities. And there are a number of different routes that you can actually take into the profession. So at whatever stage you are in your student life or even professional life.
So let's start by looking at IT. What is IT? What is the definition of IT? And there are so many definitions out there, but one definition that starts with is simply the use of computer communications and software technology to be used for the management, processing, and dissemination of information. So that would basically mean managing an information system within an organization, which is a communication of networks.
The users could be anybody, like if you are a sole trader, you are running your own business as a self-employed, you are running a limited company, you are running a partnership, you are the maximum you can go to like international PLCs who are registered on a stock exchange.
And then also what you find in Holy Quran is a promise that when the researcher goes out and he looks at nature, he will find beauty and he will find purpose. And whatever he won't find vanity. So this is a great promise to any scientific or otherwise researcher, that when he does his work, it will always have meaning.
First and foremost, you need a natural curiosity, a drive to understand the world you live in, and very importantly, self-motivation. Without that, you cannot get anywhere in research.
Update your CV regularly and speak to your colleagues, your peers, so you know what the competition is, what other people are doing, but equally speak to people that are 1 or 2 career grades above you, so that you know what they have done to get there, and you can start planning on those things straight away.
So knowing your CV, again, these are things that Khuram's already talked about. Don't exaggerate, don't lie, do be factual and accurate, do be prepared to ask about things in detail, and do have a short summary prepared, because often an opening gambit that a number of interviewers use is to say to the candidate, give me a short summary of your career so far. So it's quite important that you have a short summary that you've prepared and you've actually memorized off by heart, so you can actually explain that.
Jazakallah to everybody again for coming to this event. Thanks to all of you for attending. My thanks to the organizers. MashaAllah, you've organized a very well run and a very informative day.